We are a weekly podcast, Soul of a Gamer.
Hey, I'm smart this time. I did it this time.
Let's not go that far, okay?
I won't fuck it up again.
I love pressing that button. That was my favorite button. Yes.
It's definitely.
This game gets really fucking weird.
Yeah, so you do acid and then you go into the hamster shit.
And this week is
Night Trap.
Night Trap.
They're right behind you. Night Trap. 10-year-old birthday party. Next scene, kill the kid.
You got to kill the kid. Sha-la-la-la-la-la, car is coming. Throw your body into the car and die. All I could do every time I was playing Ethan was just would start walking around and go, Jason!
Oh, God.
It's just... I just start it usually by saying, hey, everyone, welcome to Soul of a Gamer podcast.
Wow, that was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm Scott.
I'm Steven.
And every week we play a game, we tell you about the game, and we bitch about our experience in the game.
And bitch about other things.
And
Yeah.
a lot of things, it's, particularly about him. I bitch a lot
Probably.
about him. but
I
it's
mean, I
because-
deserve it.
I mean, just how bald he is and how short he is. I don't know if you know this, guys. He's
Not even that
5'1".
short.
And-
Definitely not 5'1".
His
I'm
hair on his head.
5'10", 5'11"
He
ish on a good
technically
day.
has hair on his face, but he like glued it on there, so it's not even real.
It's your
it's
pubic
just-
hair.
Just everything he's doing is so weird that you just have to bitch about it. He's
I
lying,
mean,
saying
that's
he's
fair.
I'm 5'10", 5'11". Dude, I've met him. He's 5'1 and a half, maybe
Yeah, we're
in
like
a
the
fourth.
same exact height. Maybe one of us is just slightly taller than each other. I don't even know.
Yeah, slightly taller by 9 inches.
Yeah, no, definitely not. You dick.
Well, guys, let's just jump right into this with what the fuck are we playing? So, Steven, what are you playing?
All right, so actually, I'm pretty excited about this one because
Oh, sorry.
I
Before
find.
we start there, I'm
Whoa.
going to stop you for a second.
Oh, Jesus.
We
Fuck
hope you enjoyed our last week's game, which I completely
We
forgot to
do.
say. Last week's
Yes.
episode was a bonus episode of us just talking about our biggest failures in games, and you know what games pushed us to become gamers, I guess you could say. You could say gamers,
Yes.
or you could like pushed us over the edge and said we love doing this now.
Yep, like this is my life now. Part of me. I am
Yeah.
true to this. This is
Mhm.
always going to be a part of my
I'm
life.
picturing myself as old, and I'm hoping that I'm just still playing video games.
Oh, dude, seriously.
You never know, but I'm hoping I am.
Oh no, I'm really hoping we get like full dive gear by the time we get like pretty old, so that like
Yeah.
we still get to have like the youth and gaming feel, because we'll have a different like avatar that we're controlling in a whole new world. I'm
Yeah.
so hoping for it. Like I know Sword Art Online is a scary tale, but I'm all for it. Put me in a Sword Art Online world.
Yeah. But
I'll
have
go
something
full
like a
isekai.
kind of machine on the outside that's giving you a constant blowjob while you're in there.
Oh,
So that
yeah.
way you're feeling your best at all times. Although eventually you're just going to get really, really tired.
Dude, you might be the best at that game ever then, because you have post-net clarity always.
Yes, exactly.
I
But
mean,
also I
oof.
feel like you will be exhausted the entire
That's
time
also
you're in
true,
there.
and dehydrated as fuck
Yep,
unless you
yep,
have like
yep, yep.
IV.
All
saline
right, so now that we've had that little rant, let's jump into what are we playing. So Stephen, please
Oh.
continue.
Oh, okay. I can go now. Thank you.
You're allowed to go. I give you permission.
Permission to swear, sir. Fuck
Yes.
you. Okay, thank you. So yes, I've actually been playing Final Fantasy 16. I've been kind of really excited to play this one. I really like
Yeah.
the old Renaissance feel of this. I like not the turn-based style. I like the more kind of linear
That's
gameplay.
the most recent one that came out, right? The one that everyone was
Yes.
the kaiju battle ones.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
The icon battles, yeah.
Yeah.
It is fucking sweet, dude. That combat feels so fluid, so smooth. It's such a beautiful fucking game. I'm absolutely loving it. I've put way too much time into it and stayed up too many times playing it because it is just incredible. Like, this is exactly what I wanted, and I hoped it was going to be, and I'm glad I bought it.
Yeah. You know what? I do at some point. I've played the first Final Fantasy. I played the second one, but it's technically the third one. It's very confusing.
Okay.
And then I played the seventh one, and that's pretty much all my experience with Final Fantasy. I think I played Tactics back in the day, but that was so long ago that I don't remember it. But it would be
Yeah.
cool for us to like jump in and maybe do them in order, like every once in a while, throw in a Final Fantasy game and see how far we can get in some of the ones that aren't as popular.
I mean, I'm totally down because the worlds always are interesting. The stories
Yeah.
are always incredible. The music is always
Well, the
fucking on
first one
point.
you clearly haven't played the first one.
Dude, okay, so for me, I started with I played a demo of one on the PlayStation Portable.
Yeah.
And then I think I did a little bit of Final Fantasy 15 when it came out. I did maybe like 15, 20 hours of that.
And then
And then I
14
did
is the MMO, right?
14 is the MMO. 15
Okay.
is the one where you have the car and it's just a big like open world one and it's huge as fuck and it takes forever to do everything. Everything's so slowed and it's a big grind. But it's still just like really awesome. But then I did after that I did Final Fantasy Rebirth, 7 Rebirth or whatever. So the remake of it I played almost like probably 80% through that. But then just that game's so long, it's so bloated.
Yeah.
There's so many walking. You
Mhm.
you watch a 40-minute cutscene, then walk for 5 minutes, then watch another cutscene, then walk for another 10 minutes. Then you'll do one battle that takes you 2 minutes if you're good at the game, and then watch another cutscene. And I'm like, I want more gameplay. I need. I didn't want to watch a movie. I wanted to play
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, that's the problem with JRPGs in general. The cutscenes are fucking long.
Yeah.
So
Like
you're
I
just
I
kinda
love them.
stuck.
They're beautiful. They're gorgeous.
Yeah.
I have nothing against people who enjoy them, but I need a little bit more action and gameplay because that's what I was there for. I've watched movies in between playing games and stuff. So when my gaming becomes watching a movie and I wasn't prepared for that, I'm just like, well, now I don't actually get to play anything today. Like that kind of sucks.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's life. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I've
What are
been
you playing?
So I've been kind of going off and on what I've been playing, right? We play the games
Yes.
that we're supposed to play, but then like in between, I've been trying to like do extra stuff. And
Yeah.
one thing I've been trying to do for a long time, guys, is get pretty okay at bowling. And so I bought
Yes.
this
True.
bowling game on VR, thinking like, okay, well maybe I could use this like not like. And I was trying to find a controller that was like a weighted bowling ball because
Oh, nice.
I wanted to make the feel like real bowling
Yeah.
because the weight is the problem. And I learned that when I went back and I bowled, and my first game was horrifyingly bad.
That's fair.
When as I was readjusting to the weight of a ball,
Yeah.
but the accuracy on them are like it's sweet. It teaches you
Yeah.
really good accuracy to play on the VR bowling games.
True.
So I've been playing premium bowling on MetaQuest, which has been a
Okay.
lot of fun. And then
Nice.
also I've been playing a little bit of Dragon Age, just jumping into. I was playing on the Xbox and then realizing that they don't, for some reason, EA did not release any of the fucking downloadable content except for adding the extra character in the original Dragon Age.
Okay.
And it really bummed me out. So I got like 90% through that game. I'm in the last part of the game and I'm like, all right, well, let's just start over from the computer and just do it there. Because I don't want to fucking finish this and then jump on the computer and realize everything I was missing.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
And I've already
though.
done. Yeah, I've already done all the DLC. So, and I think they maxed out the level cap a little bit more, like the 25 or 30 or something.
Okay.
So, at some point in the game, I should be beyond the level cap. So, I think the enemy's level cap at 20, and then you can get up to 25 or 30, maybe.
Okay.
Oh,
okay.
That'll be fun.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, you want to just jump right into what we're doing then?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess
this week we are playing Spiderman.
Yes, Miles Morales.
No. It's just called Spiderman.
Is Spiderman?
Spiderman and the Speeder Devils.
2 speeders, but then one speeder goes away for a while and leaves the other speeder in charge, even though he's only 17 when he's the king of responsibility.
Is
so
he
it's
17?
like a little. Yeah.
I think he's actually younger. I think he's only 15. I was questioning.
I saw a video where someone said 17, so don't quote me on it.
But I was like,
don't
during
know
the
for
game,
sure.
I feel like I picked up 15 from somewhere because also
Maybe.
remember he hasn't seen his friend in 2 years or a year and a half, I think, at this point. And like he looks a lot older,
Yeah.
but even in the cutscenes of the past, he looks the same fucking age. I'm like,
That's
how
fair.
old are you?
That's fair.
But he's still in high school and he's not a senior. So I don't think he's 17 for that reason. He's
That's
more than
fair.
likely 16, but he might even be 15 based on, I feel like I heard
That's
that
fair.
at some point in the game.
That's fair.
So
I mean, even younger. It's a little
Yeah.
crazy.
it's just weird. It's just crazy. But okay. So a little story on Spider-Man. Spider-Man Miles
Yes.
Morales is an action adventure game where you play as Miles. Also, for some reason, I spelt it ass. Would you play Ass Miles? I don't know why I did that, but
You
I
want to play
added
with Miles
an extra
ass?
S for some reason.
All right.
As Miles and have to stop a war between two rival factions in East Harlem in order to protect the community as well as your loved ones.
Yes. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. All right. So the making of the game starts with the making of the first Spider-Man game for the PS4. The creative director for the game, Brian Intihar, something like that, wanted
I have no
Miles in
idea.
the game. He really wanted to have the character be fleshed out and to have their story told in the main sequence of the games that would feature Peter Parker as Spider-Man. They soon realized that telling such an intricate origin story would prove to be too much in addition to the stories that were intended to feature Peter Parker. So pretty early on in the development of the idea of Miles, they decided that it would be best if it had its own game.
That's fair.
They also wanted a
I
game
agree.
that could showcase the PS5. They had a lot of
Mhm.
ideas for how the game could be the flagship game of the PS5, and we're excited for the opportunity. And I didn't put this in here, but one thing they talked about a lot, and I might have put it in here, I don't remember, but was the DualSense controllers.
Yes.
They were super excited about the fact that like you could feel something on one side of the controller and
Mhm.
then it reverberates to the other side as something else happens. So like when you're charging up a special attack, you'll feel it on the left side, and then when it's ready to go, you'll feel it on the right side. So then they were really cool and excited about all these cool things.
I will always love the feel of Xbox controllers more than PlayStation controllers, but
Mhm.
I will say this DualSense controller, dude, it is
It
fucking
kills, yeah.
wild.
With
Because the haptic feedback even on
Yeah.
the triggers is crazy. Because even on Spider-Man's swing, you can feel the tension on the web on the triggers.
yeah,
Like that's ridiculous.
I didn't get
That's
that because
so
I played it
cool.
on a PS4, but
Yeah, I know, but it's so cool.
Yeah,
Like when you
I'm sure
actually
it
like
is.
get to experience that, and
it's got to be
the
fucking
sounds
amazing.
coming from it, like
Yeah.
everything that you can do with it. And the game Ghost of Tsushima, or not Ghost of Tsushima, yeah, I think it is in that one. You can actually blow into the controller, and then a
Mhm.
guiding wind will guide you where to go in the game.
Oh, weird. That's
I'm like, what
fucking
the
weird,
fuck?
but okay. It reminds me a lot of the. I mean, they're not the first ones to do that because in Nintendo
Yeah.
DS, I remember playing Pokemon Pearl.
Oh, that's true.
And you go to the underground, and sometimes you'd get caught on fire, and you'd have to
Mm.
blow into your mic. And I remember my mic didn't work too well, so I'm like
Oh.
going, just like blowing my
fair.
hardest on it.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, so.
Enough about the controller. Yes, sorry.
Yes, enough about the fucking controller. Insomniac Games, famous for games such as Spyro series and the Ratchet and Clank series, as well as the first Spider-Man game, decided they wanted to make
Hell
the
yeah.
game. They started development of the game in August of 2018. The team had decided to use the slice method for making the game. With this method, they would make 50% of the game in the first 5 months of making the game.
Damn.
Isn't that fucking incredible?
That sounds wild.
Yeah. This included quests, missions, activities, bases, trainings, and collectibles.
Crazy. Okay.
Yeah. The first part of this process was to flesh out the art of the game. The art team had a few goals in mind when creating the aesthetic of the game. First, they wanted the game to feel different from the first Spider-Man game. They knew most of the
Fair.
game would take place in similar areas, so they wanted to be different in another way. So they made the game take place during winter. Due to the
Christmas
winter aspect of the
game.
game, the second goal was to make the colors of the game more vibrant. They chose to try a neon style for the game that the team was really proud of by the end of the development of the game.
Fair.
And the final goal was to make the East Harlem as authentic as possible. This included adding real places from East Harlem in the game and having several missions involve these places to make the character and the player have to learn about East Harlem. They also sent pictures and videos of the inside of Miles Morales' apartment to individuals and families who lived in East Harlem so they could give pointers on how to make the apartment more authentic.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Isn't that crazy? Like, just like, hey, people who live there, here's a fucking
Yeah.
picture of a game we're making. How cool is it? Is it shit compared to your apartment?
No, that's awesome. I love the attention to detail, honestly, to a lot of things that they do, especially like even the deaf community in this game. All the ASL in this game.
We'll get into that one.
Yeah. Okay.
But what's interesting too is in the game, you're really not inside a lot.
No, you're not.
Like
Honestly.
the majority of the game you spend outside of areas, but certain areas that are inside are super fucking detailed. Like I feel like they did that on purpose in order to make them so detailed.
Oh yeah, but I mean, I love that even with the higher graphics, like you can when you're scaling the building, if someone's got their light on, you can actually see into their apartment.
Yeah.
And you can like see a lot of different styles of rooms and stuff set up. So there was a lot of attention to small details that really hit you hard if you actually pay attention to it all.
For sure. When programming the movements of Miles, they wanted him to feel like he was still getting used to his powers. In the first game, you play as a seasoned Spider-Man, so the movements and the actions of the character reflect that. In this game, they wanted Miles to feel like he was not always in control. They did this by adding animations such as arm flails when flying through the air. The team was really excited about programming the game to work on the PS5. The SSD for the PS5 was so much better than the PS4. It allowed the team to have near instantaneous fast travel, which I did not experience because I was playing on a PS4.
Honestly, when you do experience it, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You click the button
and you're there. Yeah, it's fucking
that
awesome.
Fast. It's stupid.
They were so excited. In the interview I watched with the lead director on the game, he was just like glowing at the fact. He's like, we really wanted people to understand how fucking awesome this was.
It's ridiculous. It's really something.
Yeah. Originally, they said that the game would only be released for the PS5, and I think they originally did that because literally they wanted to showcase how cool the PS5 was.
Yes, exactly.
But they changed their minds and made it so if a person bought Miles Morales for the PS4, they would have a free upgrade to the PS5 as well.
Which is thank you so much for that.
Cool. Yeah, that's so fucking
thank
cool.
you.
And that's probably because a lot of people are having trouble at the time getting a PS5.
Which I will say, PlayStation's been doing a really good job about that. Most games you get a free upgrade, or it's only $10 for a PS5 upgrade.
Yeah.
I'm okay with either way.
Xbox will never... Well, and Xbox won't really... They don't really serve their older consoles anyway. Like, they barely backwards compatible any of their shit, so...
Well, there's a decent amount of backwards compatibility.
There is, but it's not all of them. I have so many games...
there's still
like,
so
on
many
my shelf that I can't fucking play.
I know. I have to plug in my original Xbox to play it, which I think I
360
tried recently and it wasn't working.
anymore.
So I have to maybe get a new old Xbox.
Yeah, my 360, the disk drive doesn't open, and I'm sure it's just stuck, and I'm sure I could take it apart and I could fix it. I really don't want to because I don't understand mechanics in that regard.
Yes.
But I'm sure I could.
That's fair.
If I looked at the video, I probably could do it really easily. I just don't want to because also I only pull it out like once every 5 years.
That's fair. I'm the same way.
Yeah. They had a free upgrade. Yep. They also liked the way the PS5 could have seamless transitions. This led to them making the home screen seamlessly transition into the gameplay. When developing missions for the game, and what I mean by that, guys, is literally if you're on the home screen, you'll have like an image of Miles, and then whatever he was doing in that moment will be where you start in the game. Yep. It's seamlessly. Like literally, you press start, and you're literally in the game doing that thing.
It's crazy. Honestly, a lot of the things in it, it's just stupid, ridiculous how fast everything loads.
For sure. And I'm sure like it's amazing on the PS5. I wish I would have gotten to experience it, but I really don't want to buy a PS5.
They're getting cheaper now that the PS5 Pro's out.
Yeah, that's true. Eventually I'll jump into it, but for now I'm not going to.
That's fair.
When developing missions for the game, the team had a fairly strict timeline. They had 1 week for the story writing, block out for 3 weeks. Block out is just a term meaning times for level design. Playable for 8 weeks. This is where the team would do all of their play testing. They specifically wanted this test to test if the game is fun enough or not. The last 8 weeks were meant for art, post, and polish. The creative director for the game, Brian Horton, said that at some point, someone threw out the idea of Miles having a conversation with ASL. He knew that his son took a few courses of ASL in high school, so he knew it was possible that Miles could have done the same thing.
Yeah.
He was excited to add a layer of diversity in the game, so he agreed. He ended up hiring 3 experts in ASL to help show how the conversation might go. So literally hired 3 people who all they do is ASL.
Yeah.
Just for the fucking game.
It's freaking awesome. Seriously, I guess we were saying earlier, the attention to detail on a lot of these things. And seriously, I don't think I've ever seen ASL used in a game, and I definitely haven't seen it to this detail.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
It's awesome, honestly. They did a great job with that. I'm happy that they actually got experts to come in, like, and there's a guy in here who took 3 courses 45 years ago. Have him show you. You know?
Well, and the missions with all the ASL, especially with the artist that you can hang out with quite a bit, so cool because there's so much appreciation for ASL, but there's also so much appreciation for art in those missions. It's just so crazy and so beautiful, and you're just like, wow, like I can't believe this is part of the game. Like I can't believe they did all this on top of a Spider-Man game.
Yeah, honestly, it's completely crazy, guys.
Yeah.
Some early problems that happened early in the game was that they had all cutscenes with too many shifting moods in them, as well as they were introducing too many characters all at the same time. And I didn't really explain what this means. They showed the first cutscene of the game, right?
Okay.
It's after the Rhino battle. You
Oh,
go
okay.
into his apartment and you
Mm-hmm.
meet Finn.
Yep.
In that same cutscene, Finn tells you that her brother's dead.
Yep.
In that same cutscene, you're happy that you get to see all your friends. In that same cutscene, Genki tells you something horrifying. In that same cutscene, you get a present from your mom. Like
Mm-hmm.
they just said, like, literally, we had 15 moods going on all at the same time, and it was so overwhelming. People were like, "You gotta fucking just change this."
Yeah.
So they really,
Well, I
like,
mean,
as we know now, they split that apart into many different cutscenes
yeah.
that happen kind of during the thing. But it is insane that they had all those things happening within like 5 minutes of each other.
That's just crazy. I mean, because there is so much going on sometimes. You're just like, whoa.
Yeah.
And especially emotionally for the main character. Like,
Yeah. I mean, he's
he's
a
getting
teenager.
pulled
He's
and tugged every
yeah,
direction. And
literally
especially
a
as a
fucking
teenager.
Imagine being a teenager now and just having told that your mom died. Like, holy fucking shit. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and his dad already died at that point.
Seriously, though.
They had to change a lot of the early cutscenes to avoid this problem. They took note of these fixes so that the same mistakes could not be made later in the game. Another problem that the team ran into was the COVID pandemic hit. A lot of the post-production was done at people's homes because they were not allowed to meet in the studios.
Okay.
The composer for the game was John Paisano. 2 songs were written for the game by Boy Wonder.
Hell yeah.
I didn't look that up. That was just said in the. I didn't double check that. I don't know who Boy Wonder
okay.
is, but it was said in the making of the game that Brian Horton did. It was like a 45-minute interview where he just kind of talked about stuff. And I don't know who Boy Wonder is. I didn't even look up the songs that he did, but he said that Boy Wonder wrote 2 original songs in the game. So I assume one of them is the out song and one of them is the in song.
I mean, I really like a lot of the songs in this game.
Yeah,
it's really
they
cool.
did a really good job, but they didn't really talk about the music all that much. I was kind of bummed.
Oh, that's
I found
really
like
bummed.
no interviews on the music, no interviews on Boy Wonder. Like, it's just, I don't know, it just seems kind of shitty. Whatever.
Yeah, because a lot of times, like anything with Miles, especially like the Spider-Verse movies, they get really praised for their soundtracks and stuff like that, and how.
But if you watch the interview, it's really comprehensive, except for the fact that he does not mention any kind of musical orientation.
Weird.
He mentions Boy Wonder and he mentions John Paisano. I know that because otherwise I would not know how to pronounce Paisano.
Fair. I mean, I really liked a lot of the lo-fi kind of hip-hop kind of background music for a lot of the city, and I really enjoyed a few of the songs a lot, especially in really good moments.
Cast for the game was Najee Jeter as Miles Morales, Yuri Lowenthal as Jacqueline Pinal. Oh, I wrote down 2 names, but I didn't write down who that. Yuri Lowenthal as somebody. I didn't follow up for some reason with who that was. Jacqueline Pinal as Rio Morales. Oh, Yuri Lowenthal as Peter Parker.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, I think so.
Right.
I think I just fucked up here because I copied and pasted from my notes, and for some reason it changed the way my notes were doing. Fred Tatasciore as Rhino, Darren Day Paul as J. Jonah Jameson, Troy Baker as Simon Krieger, and Troy Baker, of course, I think we've talked about him multiple times.
Always. Last
Griffin Puautu as Genki Lee, Ashley Birch, Ashley Birch is fucking awesome. If you guys have ever played or Life is Strange, she's one of the characters. She's Chloe in Life is Strange.
Oh, nice. I love Chloe.
Yeah. And she's also, if you've ever watched what's that show on Apple TV about the video game company?
Oh, Mythic Quest?
Yeah, Mythic Quest. She's in Mythic Quest as one of the game testers.
Nice. I want to watch that show, actually. I've debated getting Apple TV just to watch that and Ted Lasso.
Yeah. I believe I'm thinking of the right person. I hope I am. We can look it up to double check, but I'm pretty sure that's who Ashley Birch is. She plays Danica Hart. Jasmine Savoy Brown as Finn Mason.
Which she's in the show Yellow Jackets.
Oh,
playing
nice.
basically the same exact character.
Is she? Nice.
Pretty much.
Ike Amati as Aaron Davis, Todd Williams as Rick Mason, Russell Richardson as Jefferson Davis, Yancey Arias as Teo Alvarez, Melanie Minicino as Gloria Davila, Emerson Brooks as Caleb Ward, Curzia Bajos as Camila Vasquez, Natasha O'Philly as Haley Cooper, and Travis Willingham as Wilson Fisk. And most of those people only have like 5 or 6 lines in the game, honestly, but that's
Yeah.
what they put on the thing. So I give them credit.
That's
The
fair.
game came out in November of 2020 to positive reviews.
Yes.
Literally
Fair.
in the middle of COVID.
It did. I enjoyed playing it in the middle of COVID
Mm-hmm.
when I wasn't working
It was COVID.
because I was an essential worker making signs.
I was an essential worker.
I know.
I'm still
But
an
you were
essential worker,
actually-
unfortunately.
You were in the medical system.
Yes.
Alrighty. So we get into the best and the worst of the games then.
Let's do it. This game
So,
fucking
obviously-
blows. I fucking hate it every second I played it. I hope the creators die. I hope their moms die.
Wow.
Just
Damn. He definitely doesn't feel that way. He's
no,
all the
no,
bullshit.
I don't. Yeah. All right, go ahead. What was your best for this game?
I think best for me is the traversal and the combat.
Mhm.
It's still as fluid and amazing as ever. I do like the slight changes, especially with the new abilities. It does kind of make the game way easier
Mhm.
in a lot of ways. Especially in the combat, it's just ridiculous being able to just turn invisible whenever you want to.
Yeah.
And all the different abilities you can have with it. It's kind of ridiculous, but it's still like some of the strongest points. I just love swinging around the city. I will say every Spider-Man game that has the swing mechanics.
Yeah, I mean that was my best too. Traversal around the city is fucking on point. I'm sure Spider-Man 2 has better traversal.
Oh
but
yes,
remember
it's
we're
so much
talking
better,
about
dude.
when the game comes out. This was really good.
Yes,
so
this
if I
was
would have
the
played
best
this in
until
2020, I
that.
would have loved this so fucking much.
Spider-Man 2's traversal. I don't know if it's gonna take a lot to beat that game
Yeah,
at traversal.
and I'm
It's
sure
ridiculous.
the next generation of like gaming consoles will beat it easy. But for now,
I
it's
hope
the
so.
best thing we can think of. You know.
Yes.
The fighting in the game was very on point. I loved that. The story was really good. Music was really good. Like in general, everything felt very cohesive. The timeline for the game was really good. So you didn't spend too long on this game. It's only like 6 hours long. So it's like,
Yeah, it's really short.
yeah, it's actually kind of nice being that short because you're not getting bogged down with too much stuff. There's only a couple things I have. This game was really fucking glitchy on the PS4. At one point,
really?
I fell through the street upon
damn.
finishing a mission. I finished a mission. Basically, it's like a side crime mission where you have to stop a car someone stole. And I stopped the
Okay.
car, but while I'm stopping the car, I fall through the street and I stop the car, but it looks like it just blew up.
Okay.
Like it looked like it flipped and blew up. So I'm like, did I fail the mission? And then as I'm waiting to hear if I failed or not, I just keep falling until I die. And then I was like, oh,
Damn.
okay. I guess that just
Okay.
happened.
I didn't have any bugs.
And I think it was a PS4 problem. I don't think that would
That's
have
fair.
happened on the PS5.
Well, and I'm trying to think back because I played it on the PS4 version and the PS5. So I'm trying to remember if I had any like big bugs on the PS4, and I'm not remembering any.
Well, that happened to me at the very least. So watch out for that,
That's
guys.
fair.
It could happen to you. It might not. You know, it's just kind of up in the air. Other things I didn't really enjoy about the game. Honestly, I didn't like the fact of how many things are introduced as the game goes forward. So like the first thing you get are challenges, right? And those are just open to the world and happen. And then they're like, okay, well now these collectibles are here, so find these. And then a short time after that, we have these now bases that you have to invade. And then a long time after that, they're like, oh, hey, another group of collectibles that you need to go grab. And then a long time after that, hey, more bases that you need to kill, but they're from a different enemy this time. And it's just like nonstop adding throughout the game rather than like, you know, and I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to shove those all in the first 5 minutes of the game, but I would assume the first 2 hours would be an okay place to start shoving in all the things you want to do.
So they definitely They definitely fixed that in Spider-Man 2 because like the traversal is ridiculous, but you can also just like scan with your suit in a proximity area around you,
Okay.
and that tells you where all the collectibles and stuff are. So you're
Nice.
just swinging around scanning the city or flying around scanning the city because you have the wingsuits and you
Yeah.
can actually get in wind currents and fly
See,
around
that
the
was
city.
another thing I actually thought about with this game. I'm like, it would have been great if they had the gliding suits in these games.
Dude, they do it in 2. It's
They do it perfect.
ridiculous. It's
Nice.
so cool. And all the Venom
Nice.
powers on top of that, you can do some ridiculous shit. Like there's even achievements for like how long you can stay in the air.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Yeah. And the other thing I really didn't like about this game, I don't know why they did this, but they had some abilities locked to New Game Plus.
Yeah, I really do
And
kind of
yeah, it's
hate
like
that.
it's stupid. It's like, New Game Plus is not supposed to be add abilities to make the game easier. It's supposed to be try it on a harder difficulty now that you've beat it on this difficulty, right?
You try it on a harder difficulty and have all the upgrades right at the start, so you don't have to
Yeah.
like go back to base level and like
Yeah.
grind
And
again.
like I don't know. I just with that it just felt really stupid. To me it felt
I
really
agree.
like they restricted me too much in the game because I really wanted those top tier abilities and I didn't get to use them.
Which, I mean, I know these games are fun, and I am the kind of mega fan of Spider-Man that I have replayed these games over again.
Mhm.
Like, I think this is even my 2.5 playthrough
Yeah.
of the game. And I'm probably going to even go try to 100% on the PS5 and
Yeah.
then go back and do it on the PS4 again, just because I love
Why
these
not?
games. But not everyone wants to replay it as much as I do. And
it's not just
forcing
that.
people to go into other replays, it sucks.
Yeah, well, when you think about it too, like, what if someone like me who just did this started it after Spider-Man 2 already came out, right?
True.
So I'm doing it in continuation so I can get to Spider-Man 2. Well, then I'm never going to fucking replay this game because I want to play the newest game.
True.
Like, I don't know. When you restrict too much, it does like kind of belittle my interest in the game. So that was a
Yeah.
big harp that I had during like when it said like you only unlock these abilities with New Game Plus. You only unlock the suit with New Game Plus. You only unlock these final tier of the
Yeah.
gadgets with New Game Plus. I'm like, well, I don't remember them doing this in the original Spider-Man, but whatever. I guess fuck me.
Yeah. I think they did suits for New Game Plus, but I think that was it. Which I'm
Yeah,
okay with, like
yeah, suits are
cosmetic
fine.
things being things you unlock. That's totally fine. Which
And
I
they
mean,
give you
always
extra
the suits in
powers
these
and
games are
stuff,
crazy.
so like that just makes sense for them. But
Yeah.
for top tier of like a skill tree, that's really fucking weird to do New Game
Yeah.
Plus.
For sure, I agree. Another harp that I will say that some people will have a problem with. I don't because I love this. But it is the exact same map as Spider-Man 1. They did
Yeah.
make some additions. They did change some things. The story did progress, and some buildings have changed.
Mhm.
Which I'll get into some those details later. But it's a lot of people complain about this with like the Far Cry games when they reuse the same map over again, but then
Yeah.
just change the game or just change the timeline of when it is.
Yeah.
So if that's an issue for you, I mean, especially if you put like 100 hours into the first one, like a lot of us did, it's the same map, it's the same combat with a little tweaks. So it's going to feel a lot of the same.
I mean, it came out within 2 years of the previous one, so like you're
Yeah.
right. Like there's no choice to but feel the same, right? Not a lot happened those 2 years.
Yeah. And I mean, like those missions where they really focus on Harlem are really a breath of fresh air because it is different, it is new, it is showing different perspectives a lot better and showing different communities a lot better. But besides those moments, you're just swinging around the same New York, around the same buildings.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, besides that, I mean, like there's the only thing I always get frustrated with the anti-hero kind of villain that is like with you but against you the entire time. And I just really hate
Yeah.
like when she gets presented an option to, she has all the evidence she would need to put the main villain behind bars for the rest of his life in the palm of her hands.
She's
and
like,
she
"You're
still
a liar,
decides,
Pats."
fuck everybody. I'm going to
Yep.
blow this shit up. I'm going to blow his building up. I hope he dies. Like, I want to kill him if I could, honestly.
Yeah.
And I will kill anybody who gets in my way. And even if they're my best friend, that's a superhero. Like, I'm just like, why? I hate that level of ridiculous. Like, you can't see anything past just, I hate this one person.
Yeah.
Like, it does get a little annoying to me because I'm like, there's no reason, there's no logic. You have all the evidence in front of you to totally clear your uncle, totally put him behind bars, get the justice you want, but it's not the justice you want because you want to see everything burned to the ground. You want to see him murdered. And I'm
Yep.
like, fuck, that's so annoying.
And it's clear your brother, not uncle. But yes,
Oh, yeah,
I
sorry.
understand. Yeah. You're talking
Yeah.
about the other kind of weird thing. I did feel like they pushed a little bit too much in the story with
Prowler.
Miles's, just in general. Like, so the fact that everything is basically based around Miles, right? Somebody who
Yeah.
did not matter prior to becoming Spider-Man. Suddenly, like, his uncle is the Prowler, and now that's a big deal, and that that's big in the comics. But then the Tinkerer, that's just for this game, I think, because I think the Tinkerer was another dude, and
I think Tinker was a dude originally,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's like, you're right. I'm tired of having the thing be like, why is my best friend becoming this new version of the villain? Why can't it just be this villain? Like, Doc Ock was perfect as a fucking villain,
I love Doc Ock, especially because it was like his mentor. It was someone like who was there
Yeah.
for him, but like in a different way. And yeah,
It was perfect.
and
It was the perfect fucking villain, and then they fucked it,
well, and it also because he was actually driven insane by a machine. It wasn't that he was actually insane, and like
Mhm.
because that's the thing with the Tinkerer. There's nothing controlling her to do these horrible things. Like she's killing people, blowing up vehicles, destroying buildings, like
Yep.
not giving a fuck in the world because of how much she hates one dude. And I'm like, dude, you could literally you have all the skills in the world to not side with all these criminals and get all these criminals to work underneath you
And you
for you
fucking do it anyway. Yeah.
and arm these criminals with the worst weapons the city's ever seen.
Yeah, it is just getting a little annoying that we keep having to deal with these like anti-hero, anti-villain situations where you have to care about the bad guy. And
Yeah.
now, to be fair, everyone has a story to tell, but sometimes you just don't give a shit about the fucking story.
Well, and sometimes I love just a really good bad guy who's
right?
just a bad guy. Like
Yes.
honestly, like sometimes some of the best bad guys are just purely evil.
Yeah. And also, one more gripe, but this is not on them.
Go
This
for
is
it.
on me. I really, 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 really wish they would just make Willem Dafoe the Green Goblin every fucking time there's a Green Goblin. To me,
Yes.
he is the ultimate Green Goblin, and I love him so much that there should never be any like, well, this one's based on the comic. Fuck the comic. Willem Dafoe is the Green Goblin.
There's some characters and some people that just like that is their role from that day on. That's who they are, and that's one of those people.
Yeah. But let's just move on to our next little segment.
Yeah. All right. So talking about just the first few hours of the game, how do you think that passes on your?
I think actually it doesn't pass.
Okay.
I feel like the first hour and a half of this game is tutorial.
That's fair.
And that is really fucking annoying.
Yeah.
This is why I didn't put this in the best and the worst, but this is one of the worst things for me. It is a fail hard because the tutorial is so fucking long.
That's fair. No, yeah, I get that. I think for me, again, it's hard because I'm always intrinsically pulled into these, and I have so much more like heart for all the shitty stuff because it's just Spider-Man and the gameplay so much makes me feel like I'm actually being Spider-Man that I just forgive so much. But
yeah,
I have to agree with that. The tutorial does feel like really long, and it
doesn't
ever feel like
really,
you kind of stop
really
learning
fucking,
throughout the game.
yeah,
Even
but even like the entire first mission is a tutorial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right after the first mission, it teaches you all about web dynamics. Right after that, it teaches you all about combat dynamics. And it's literally an hour and a fucking half of just learning shit. I'm like,
That's fair.
You can do the basic and everyone can pick up the rest. If there's nothing weird about the game, you don't need to do a long tutorial.
Yeah.
Man, it was just so frustrating because I'm like, can I just I want to explore the city. I want to fucking go out there. I want to, like, even just getting the app, that there was a tutorial on the app too that you had to use.
Oh, I know.
Like it
have
got
to do
so
the specific
obnoxious.
mission. Yeah. I do. There is too much hand holding in some of these games, and I do wish some of them. I wish games would give you the option to just not have tutorials. Like for certain games,
back in the day, at least.
Yeah, especially with games that are like sequels to other games. Like if we have 100 hours in your previous game,
Yeah,
we probably don't want to do the same tutorial that someone new to the game would be doing.
that's true. I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, I think of games like Knights of the Old Republic 2, where
Yeah.
literally there's an entire first mission that you can just skip because the entire first mission is just a tutorial.
Oh, okay.
And
Interesting.
they give you the option, like, would you like to play the tutorial or just skip it and go right into gameplay? And if you
Skip
don't want to
it.
do the tutorial, you go right into gameplay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
I
don't
wish
know,
more
like,
games had that.
when they do that, that's perfect. To me, that's like the
Mhm.
best thing you can do.
Yeah, which I mean, there is a really cool thing, I guess. If it's been a while since you played the first game, there is a previously on thing on the main menu too, where you can watch what happened in the previous game, which I'm like, that's kind of
Mhm.
cool.
Yeah. But yeah, for me, this 100% fails. Are you saying it passes? Just based on fun factor?
I'm intermediate with it because with all the PS5-ness of it all, especially if you are playing it on PS5,
Yeah, it probably
with all
feels a lot different.
the new stuff to it, it does feel really fresh and new. Especially if you're playing with RTX, because it was one of the first games that had ray tracing, if I remember right, or it was like really showcasing its ray tracing because
Yeah,
it was
I
one of the
believe
first
I read about the
PS5s.
ray tracing on there.
The stuff is really awesome to see. It's really cool. The new controller stuff is really awesome to feel. So it does pass because I think of all the spectacles of a lot of things, but probably not for just a pure enjoyment.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah,
Well, then
all right.
let's go on to the next thing.
Steve achieves.
Steve achieves what?
So this game is
Being
about
5'1".
Steve achieves it, probably not convincing anybody that he's over 5'1" because of you, you asshole. All right, so the game is about 8 hours long and about 18 to 100% complete the game. Most of the things in this game are just completing a lot of the things, getting all the collectibles, completing all the different challenges, completing all the different app requests. That one's called 5-star review, because you want your app to have a 5-star review.
I think I did that.
Nice. There's one that's JJJ would be proud if you use a sticker and custom lighting in photo mode because you're being a Spider-Man photographer for him. I'm like, that's kind of clever. There's never saw it coming for taking out a base without being detected. Honestly, once you get really good at the stealth in this game, nothing else matters.
Yeah.
It's so much fun to just go through a base stealthy, and it's so much easier if you can.
Mm-hmm.
And all the different things you can do with ceiling takedowns, wall takedowns, perch takedowns, and all the invisibility spells. It's fucking wild. And the gadgets, it's stupid. But there's also like Rhino in a China shop. This one, you wouldn't think about doing this. You'd probably try to avoid Rhino destroying a bunch of shit. But you actually get an achievement, or a trophy, I mean, for destroying 15 breakable objects while riding Rhino through the mall. And also, I really do want to point out in that scene, there's really cool interactions with Peter. If Miles fails to save someone and Rhino's about to run into them, Peter actually swoops in at the last minute and will save them. And then if you like go into camera mode and turn around, if you look back, he like saves them and it like gives you a thumbs up.
That's
It's
cool.
the funniest thing ever. It's so stupid, but it's
that's
so
a cool
cool.
Easter egg.
Yeah, I loved it. So that's pretty much what I have for like the achievements or trophies. There's not like a lot that is like really cool or like really hard to get. A lot of it's just 100% of the game, getting all everything. So then there is the hunt for all the eggs. So there is a ton of references, obviously, to the first Spider-Man game, and it is a very much a continuation of the game right from where it left off. So you hear a lot about what happened in the first game. So if you haven't played the first game, you will be missing quite a bit of the story.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't fully matter. You could play this as a standalone game because it is a whole new Spider-Man. You just probably won't understand what's happening for the first hour of the game.
Yeah. You won't know how he gets his powers.
Yes. As in all the Spider-Man games that I can remember, you can visit the cemetery and you can pay your respects to Aunt May and Uncle Ben. But now you can also do for Officer Davis.
Nice.
Yep, and I think there's actually a trophy for going to their grave sites. Also, really cool thing for Stan Lee, because this was after Stan Lee's death, if I remember right. If you go to Mick's Diner, which if you play the first game in Mick's Diner, Stan Lee is the cameo in there. He's Mick, and he comes to the table and talks to them while they're on their date. There's actually a statue of him outside now. It's a full statue standing taller than the building. It's really cool. It's a really cool homage to Stan Lee. Love it.
Nice.
Also, at the Science Center during a flashback, you bump into Otto and Peter during one of the Miles scenes. So you get to see Otto Octavius again.
I thought that was a really cool scene.
It is a really cool scene. And then, of course, like a lot of the things in the time capsules have a lot of different touches and things. Like there's a Wakanda flag in one of them. And there's a couple of things that go towards Miles. And I think even like his bedroom, there's like the first ever Spider-Man appearance of Miles Morales or something is on his desk.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of different nods and stuff, but those are some of the ones that I wanted to point out the most.
Yeah, and I really wish they would have had like Iron Man flying overhead or something at some point. It would have been cool,
Yeah, I mean, that's always the kind of the joke in all of Marvel is you have these characters that are just like stuck in one city, but the Avengers Tower is in that city, but you never see them ever.
Or you can go to Hell's Kitchen and you don't find Daredevil, and you
because it would be cool to just have them like in the background, or like you could go up to them and interact with them or something, and even maybe not even interact with them, but like you hear a tale of them, or like you hear Jonah Jameson doing a podcast like, "Oh, did you hear Daredevil stop this fucking blah, blah, blah."
Or even saying, "I heard of another superhero down in Hell's Kitchen, some kind of devil guy. Now we're having superheroes who are devils?"
Which the only touches to a lot of other Spider-Man characters were other Spider-Man villains. Like one of the computers in one of Krieger's Raxxon facilities, you can see a file on Black Cat, Tombstone, and Prowler.
Yep.
I was like, okay, cool. And we saw Rhino.
But then Black Cat was featured in the previous game, so it's not like that's a...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So was Tombstone. Tombstone was a DLC.
Yeah, so like you've seen these characters, they're around, and I don't know, to see the extra characters that are there too, Daredevil
or just even touches or nods to them.
Mm-hmm. Spider-Man had his help. Like it would be really cool to see something.
For sure. But yeah, I guess that's it for all of that. So I guess we go on to what's it worth. Thing? Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right. You want me to go first? Or you going first?
I'll go first on this one. I hardcore debated because I feel like this is probably an average Spider-Man game.
Fair.
I think the first one did better.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So I'd give the first one a 4. So I think I'm going to stick with a 3 on this one. And then I think the second one, it sounds like most people would give that a 5. So it sounds like this one is just like a middle of the road. It's kind of just to sate your appetite while you're waiting for the next game to come out. And basically, that's fine. I mean, I don't mind it. It was still a fun game. I had a lot of fun playing it. But I will say, I think you could skip this one in the anthology of things, but I don't think you should.
I don't think you should at all because Miles is an integral character in the second game.
Yes, and in the first game,
both. Even. Yeah, but I mean, you play primarily as both, so you play in pretty much 50-50 split between the two in the second game. So he is really important to get his story
now.
Pretty much. But also has some other segments in it that I won't give away.
Okay.
It's fucking awesome and wild.
It's fucking
Great villains and stuff in that game. Holy shit.
Nice.
But seriously, I have to agree. I think I was kind of torn between a 3 and a 4. The Spider-Man fan in me just always wants to give all these a 4 or a 5.
Yeah. But I mean, you said it right, man. You said like it feels like they took everything from Spider-Man and just included it in Miles Morales, right? So it's like rating this game is like rating Spider-Man only without the fucking amazing villain in Doc Ock.
Well, and the closest thing I can say to it is if you've ever played, I think it was it was Far Cry 5 and then Far Cry New Dawn. Literally the exact same map, just different villains, and they made it more neon color schemed.
Yeah. Okay.
Sound familiar?
Yeah.
Almost exactly the same thing. Little bit lower pricing of a game, shorter game, not as good as the first one, but still had a lot of like newer touches that were kind of fun. Both of them I enjoy, but they're not the best in the franchises. Like, I
No.
can't say that I enjoyed this as much, especially playing the later ones. Like, when this came out, I probably gave it a 4. Playing it now after playing 2 and playing a couple other games, I think I have to go 3.
Yeah, I think 3 is a good middle of the road score for this game. Like I said,
Yeah,
you could skip it if you want. I don't think you
I don't
should.
think you should.
But you
Definitely
could.
not.
In general, like gameplay wise, like fundamental wise, this game doesn't really bring anything that new to this table, so
It's
you
fair.
won't miss too much. But the story won't make a lot of sense without it.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I think it's good to play through, but also like maybe wait for a sale.
Yeah, and I mean when they marketed it, I believe they did market it as a standalone game.
Yeah.
That you don't have to play Spider-Man to play this. Like
Yeah,
they
and it's
marketed it
true.
as that, you know.
Yep.
So I think they did a good job marketing. I think this game deserves a 3, but I also think like, take it or leave it. You'll like it probably, but you'll like the other ones much better.
Yeah. Definitely.
All right, well then that was that. That was Spiderman.
Cool. Spiderman.
Spiderman and the
Does he
speeders
do
of
whatever
justice.
a speeder can?
Yes.
Is he?
Next week we are playing
Yes, that Half-Life.
Half-Life. Yes,
Yes.
Half-Life. Half-Life is a very, very, very old game. And
Never
it has
played
some
it.
things that, I've never played it either. Actually, I played Half-Life 2, but I think I only played the mods of it. So
Okay.
we're gonna jump into Half-Life and tell you what we think about that game. Oh,
Yes.
see you next week, guys.
Bye.
Bye. No.